Everybody loves to play games where their character becomes the hero. We all want to save the world and be the good guys, right? In games, our character is set on the path of good right from the start, and it's not hard to tell the journey will end with the villain defeated, the day saved, and everybody praising your name from the rooftops. But what if the story wasn't so straightforward? What if some video games have you think you're playing as the hero, but in fact, you're a villain? I'm Josh. Welcome to HotFix Gaming. Today we're bringing you 10 video games in which you were the villain all along, but you didn't know it. So, let's get started. Number 10. Tim Braid. Braid is a simple platformer that has the main character trying to find a way to reach the princess and save her from a fortress. At first, it seems the princess is helping you save her, but when you reach the end, you discover time has been playing in reverse. In reality, you're stalking the princess, while she's trying to hinder your progress in order to escape. This twist is something players usually don't see coming, but what's worse, many have said that they felt uncomfortable for harassing the princess and stalking her like that. Number 9. Rider Fury. Fury is a short but ruthless shoot-'em-up in which you play as a mysterious convict trying to escape from a highly advanced futuristic prison. The game starts off with you being endlessly tortured by one of the prison's 10 jailers, so it's easy to assume that you're the victim here. However, behind every prisoner is a crime they got imprisoned for. As you venture deeper into the prison and kill more of your jailers, you start to notice that not every single one of your enemies is as ruthless as the first one. Although they all want to subdue you, they don't act out of malice. One fights you just because he thinks you're a danger to his child, while another even lets you have a chance to go back before you force them to fight. So what's this all about? Well, once you manage to escape, it turns out your character is a scout sent by alien invaders in order to look for a planet worthy of destruction. Yep, the entire time you were breaking out of prison just to doom billions of people to death. Number 8. Martin Walker, Spec Ops: The Line. At first glance, Captain Walker looked and acted like yet another derivative soldier protagonist from literally any modern military FPS game. But as Spec Ops: The Line wore on, it became clear that, unlike his patriotic contemporaries, Captain Walker was not a hero or even an anti-hero. He was the villain, and players saw the world through his eyes. With a misguided sense of duty and honor, Captain Walker entered the ravaged Dubai and made things worse by merely being there. Through Walker, Spec Ops: The Line didn't just deconstruct military shooters and fiction, but questioned the player's desire to immerse themselves in what is essentially a war crime simulator for escapism's sake. 7. Zachary Comstock, BioShock Infinite. Through BioShock Infinite, Booker fought his way through Colombia to free Elizabeth from the clutches of Comstock, the monstrous human embodiment of American exceptionalism. After killing him and escaping the doomed flying city, Booker is shown an existentially dreadful truth. He and Comstock are the same person. BioShock Infinite's big divisive twist ending revealed that it takes place in a BioShock multiverse, and Comstock is who Booker would have become if he escaped his dark past by choosing religion instead of vices like alcohol and gambling. The only way to save countless worlds from Comstock's evil is to kill the original Booker, which is what a group of alternate Elizabeths does. 6. James Sunderland, Silent Hill 2. In Silent Hill 2, James visits the haunted tower after receiving a letter from his wife Mary, who died of a disease. James gradually remembers that while Mary was ill, she died because he suffocated her with a pillow. The town's horrors, like the nightmarish Pyramid Head, were shaped after his repressed guilt and desires. So much so that Maria was actually a sexualized version of Mary. Depending on the player's actions, James will either come to terms with what he's done or not. The best possible outcome has Mary's spirit forgiving James, while James's bleaker ends include suicide by drowning, repeating his mistakes by choosing Maria instead of acknowledging his sins, or trying to resurrect Mary via black magic. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit that like button. Now let's continue with our top 5 games where you were the villain all along. Number 5. Talion and Celebrima, Middle-earth, Shadow of War. The protagonists of the Middle-earth series, Talion and Celebrima, aren't exactly hiding that they are more anti than heroes. Their main tactics for fighting against their common foe are dominating orcs and callously sending them to die. But they're just orcs, right? And seeing as they're just as likely to suffer the same fate under Sauron's rule, you could say that fighting fire with fire is morally justifiable, so long as it gets rid of the other fire. This isn't what happens with Talion and Celebrimo, however. Though their objective is to take down Sauron, replicating the Dark Lord's power inevitably makes them just as bad as him. Celebrimo's, and to an extent Talion's, desire for power only ends up corrupting them. Just like Sauron, they enslave and abuse their subjects, and when Celebrimo creates the ring that's supposed to help him destroy Sauron, its power warps his mind, making him more power-hungry and destructive. The culmination of their descent into villainy is the moment when Celebrimo reveals he'd rather replace Sauron on his throne than just kill him, and then betrays Talion, turning him into a Nazgul. 4. Venom Snake, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Despite being made to create their own character at the start, players were given control of Venom Snake in the last true entry in Metal Gear Solid, a franchise so iconic that it overshadowed almost all stealth games. The twist was that both characters were the same, since the player's custom character got turned into Big Boss's buddy double after they barely survived XOF's attack on Military Sans Frontiers. While Venom Snake committing wartime atrocities was sadly not too surprising, what took gamers aback was that his descent into darkness was actually the origin story for the big boss that Solid Snake killed in the original Metal Gear. Though it took almost 40 years, the question behind Big Boss's apparent immortality was finally answered. 3. Wanda, Shadow of the Colossus. Hoping to bring his dead lover Mono back to life, Wanda brings her body to an ancient temple to ask the gods for help. A voice named Dormin promised Wanda what he wanted, but first he has to slay the 16 colossi that wander the ancient land. Wanda does this in the name of love, not knowing that he was actually helping an ancient evil. The colossi all hold fragments of Dormin's being, and killing them meant restoring it to its full strength. In the game's final act, a fully powered Dormin possessed Wanda's body in an attempt to escape the temple it was imprisoned in. Dormin was stopped at the last minute and Mono was revived, but these came at the cost of Wanda's life. To this day, fans still wonder if Wanda really was a hero or a villain. Number 2. Ellie, The Last of Us Part 2. The story of The Last of Us Part 2 relies on one specific lie in order to tell itself properly: the player's belief that Ellie is right to seek revenge for Joel's death. In the game, you get to see Ellie go from a sweet, if somewhat mischievous character into a frenzied murder machine that will stop at nothing to get her revenge. And because both Ellie and Joel are beloved protagonists of The Last of Us, it's easy to sympathize with Ellie and even cheer her on as she goes on her brutal crusade in Joel's honor. However, no matter what your feelings are, Ellie's actions throughout Part 2 are truly despicable. Everywhere she goes, she leaves trails of bloody corpses. She threatens to kill children, and she even shoots a pregnant woman. Worst of all, most of the time her actions don't even have anything to do with avenging Joel. Number 1. Mario, Donkey Kong. The original arcade version of Donkey Kong is a pretty simple game, unless you count a sprite of an ape as an exposition. There's really not much to go on in terms of plot and storyline. It's just a tale of a mustached man trying to save his girlfriend from a dumb and angry ape. Or is it? Well, according to the game's description, as well as the story of its sequels, Mario is actually not the hero everyone believes him to be. It turns out he and Donkey Kong have a history behind the latter kidnapping Pauline. In reality, the gorilla is actually a runaway pet of Mario, who's not just a jumping man, but also a cruel circus owner who keeps his animals in tiny cages and whips them into obedience. The only reason Donkey Kong kidnaps Pauline is to take revenge on his ex-owner. And if you still think Mario is kind enough to just try saving his lover, you have another thing coming. The sequel to Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., reveals that Mario cages the big ape after rescuing Pauline and forces him back into his circus. Sorry if we just ruined your childhood. But what similar games have you played where you were actually the villain all along? Let us know your best choices in the comment section below. And if you have enjoyed this video and want more gaming content, make sure to check out our 10 trends in gaming that are dying video, or even our ranking of the best 10 DLC expansions worth playing on the PS5. Both videos are linked on screen.